All right, this is Mr. Bedley, and I'm going to be teaching you this fourth grade lesson, Excel lesson 20, on interpreting information from bar graphs and picture graphs. I want you to make sure that you watch the entire video and listen to everything that I teach you about this math. It's not like watching a Disney movie where you can just keep the video playing and walk away from it or talk to someone while the video is still going. You have to pay attention to the entire thing because this is a lesson and you're going to be held responsible for knowing the information in the video. So make sure you follow my directions on here, and if you get stuck on something or if I'm going too fast for you, then just back it up and watch that part again on the video. All right, here we go with and if you need extra help, ask me later on. Catch me and ask me for some additional help on the concept if you're struggling with it. I think that these problems on this lesson are going to be pretty easy for most of you. So what I'm going to actually have you do is try the problems first and then turn the video back on to see if you're doing them correctly. So what I'd like you to do right now is do numbers 1, the 3 problems here at number 1. Make sure you show your work on any adding or subtracting that you have to do. So you're going to pause the video in just a second and then turn it back on to see what the solutions are and see if you did it right. So go ahead and pause the video now. Alright, so you should have already done the problems for number 1 here. Now I'm going to go over them. If you still haven't done them, then pause the video and do the problems before you watch how I solve them. Otherwise you will not learn these problems like you should. The first part says, how many minutes did Tyson and Emma read? Well, what you have to do is look at Tyson here, and that's this bar coming up here, and that goes to this line, and if you come over to here, it says 30. So Tyson read for 30, and then Emma, that's this bar right here that's bright green, and if you follow that line over, it comes between the 20 and the 30. So what number is halfway in between 20 and 30? You should have figured out that that's 25. So it's asking you how much they read basically together here. So your show work on that should be 30 plus 25. If you didn't do that correctly, go ahead and add that into your paper right now. And of course the answer would be 55. And you have to put a label with your answer. We're talking about minutes, so 55 minutes is the answer. According to the reading chart, which 2 children read the same number of minutes? To determine that, all you have to do is look at the bars and see which 2 are at the same height. And you can see that these 2 bars right here, this blue one at the end and the orange one, came up to the same place. And the question says, which 2 children? I bet some of you might have put 20 for your answer, but it doesn't ask you how many minutes they read. It just says which 2 children. So you had to write down the names of those 2 children. That would be Jordan. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit that on this line here with my stylus, but Jordan and Carlo. So you should have written both of their names there. There's no work to be shown on that. How many more minutes will Carlo have to read to catch up with Kayla? Well, Carlo, we just saw his right here, and he read, let me get some of this off of here out of the way, make it a little bit easier to see. There we go. And Carlo, you can see, read 20 minutes, and then Kayla read between the 30 and the 40, so that would be 35 minutes. So for Carlo to catch up with Kayla, she would have to read, never mind that, she would have to read 35, and right now she's at 20, so your show work should be 35 minus 20, which is 15 minutes. She has to read 15 minutes to catch up. Here it is in a little bit neater. And on to the next part. If you didn't see that, I know I kind of went fast. You can just go back and pause it and take a look at it, but I went over the answers with you. Okay, go ahead and give these 3 questions a shot here on this page and pause the video and then turn it back on when you're ready to see the answers. All right, it says, how many cats and turtles do they have? Well, we have to find the cats, and that's written right over here. We followed the bar out. The cats comes to the 8th line there, so we have 8 on the cats, and then the turtles are right down here. That comes to the 4, where the 4 is there, so you just write 8 plus 4, and the answer is 12. Now we could write 12 cats and turtles, or we could say that both of those are animals, so they have 12 animals. You do have to have a label with that makes sense, either animals or cats and turtles. What is the difference between the number of dogs and the number of birds? We're looking for the difference here, which means we got to find out how many more of one than there are the other. If you look at dogs here, that comes out partway between the 6 and the 8. And what number would fall right in there between 6 and 8? Of course, that would be 7. And then birds comes down just right to there where the 2 is. And so our number sentence is 7 minus 2 to find the difference. And you'd say 5. And you don't say 5 difference. It's actually 5 more dogs, right? So we'd say 5 more dogs for our answer there. And the third one, how many more turtles would the pet store need to buy to have 7 turtles? Well, we can see that they have 4 turtles. The turtles goes out here, straight down to the 4. And in order to have 7, they would have to do 7 minus 4, which is 3. They'd have to have 3 more turtles, or 3 turtles. All right. There you go right there. Here's the answers written a little bit more neatly. Moving on to the next page here, we have a pictograph. And this is a little bit tricky for some kids, but I'm going to have you go ahead and give it a shot on your own. Try these 3 problems. Pause the video right now and then turn it back on when you're ready to see my solutions. Give it your best shot. Okay, if you haven't at least tried on your own, try it on your own and then turn the video back on to see what I came up with. Don't be afraid of getting the wrong answer. You'll learn more by giving it your best shot on your own. Okay, the first question says, who caught less than 4 fish? Now notice that each fish, you have to look at the key down at the bottom. Each picture of the fish represents 2 fish. So Jess caught 2 and 2 there, which makes 4. Is that less than 4 fish? No, that is 4 fish. When we're talking about less than 4 fish, it can't be 4 yet. So obviously Billy caught more than 4 and Tina caught more than 4. But if you look at Lori here, Lori caught 2 there, and then this picture has a picture of a half of a fish. See, the rest of it would be like out there. And they didn't show that part, which means that this half of this fish is half of the 2. That means that's 1 fish right there. So you have 2 fish and 1 fish, which makes a total of 3 fish. And Brett also is less than 4 fish with the 2 fish right there. So we just have 2 people that caught less than 4 fish, and that would be Lori and Brett as your answers. And you have to put both of their names there to get this one right. If you put Jess, you got it wrong. Go ahead and erase Jess's name. How many more fish does Brett need to catch to have the same number as Billy? So we got to find out what Brett did. That's this 1 picture of a fish, but that's 2 fish. And so Billy has, or Brett, excuse me, has 2. And then Billy, he's out here with a picture here, picture here, picture here, picture here. That's 4 pictures at 2 fish each. That's 8 for Billy. So in order to see what he has to do to catch up with him, we just subtract and we get 6 fish. If you wrote 6 fishes, that's not the plural of fish. It's just the word fish. It's one of those weird plurals. If Lori catches 2 more fish, how many fish will she have? Well, to understand that, again, you have to understand the half of the picture there. So this one's 2, that one's 1, because it's half of a fish picture, which is half of 2, and that's 1. So she has 3 now. If she catches 2 more, you have to show your work there of 3 plus 2. She'll have 5 fish. And hopefully you can write a little bit neater than I am there. Alrighty, there are your answers there. And now on to this page that has pictures of shoes. We just have 1 question that you're going to answer. So pause the video, give it a shot, and then turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, hopefully you gave it your best shot there, and maybe this time you learned your lesson. You looked down at the bottom and found out what those shoes actually mean. Each shoe is 2 laps around the track. It says how many more laps does Jamie have to run to catch up with Catherine? So Jamie, we've got 2 pictures of shoes, and each one's worth 2 laps, and so that would be 4. And then Catherine has 2, 4, 6, and then a half of a shoe, which would only be one lap, and that makes 7. So in order for her to catch up, she would have to run 3 more laps. You must show your work like that, and you write 3 laps. You also have to have a label on that there. All right, so there it is, written neatly for you to see in our section. I want you to take a look at this problem here, and you're going to simply circle the 1, the 2, the 3, or the 4. Just circle the number when you pick out which chart represents the graph right here. So pause the video, read it over, give it your best shot, and then turn the video back on to see the answers. Alright, so what we have to do here is just go through and look at our shoes and figure out how many laps that is. So Spencer has 2, 4, 6, 8, and then half a shoe, that would be 9. You know, Spencer has 9. So let's look at these different charts here and see if Spencer has 9 on them. This one right here for Spencer has 5. When you go 1, 2, 3, 4, your next one goes across like that, and that's a bundle of 5. Okay, so here's 5 represented, and then one more, so that's 6. And Spencer has 9 up here on the graph, so that couldn't be it right there. Now let's go to number 2. Well, we have 5 there, and then we have 4 individual ones, so that is 9. So that one works with the graph, but we're not sure that that's the answer yet. On this one, number 3, oops, I didn't mean to circle that. Let me undo that. Okay, come on. I'll have to erase it. Alright, so on number 3, you can see we have a bundle of 5, and then we have 4 there. That makes a total of 9. So that one also matches the graph. And on number 4 down here, we have a bundle of 5 only, so that couldn't match the graph. So now we've got to go on to one more. We've got 2 here, 4 there. Jamie has 4 on here. If we can figure out between this one and this one, which one has 4, then we'd be able to figure out the winner. On this one up here, number 3, that can't be the answer because there's 5 there. This one down here, number 2, has 4 for Jamie right there. So that's the winner. If you pick 2, you got it right. Thanks for watching.